my name's Louise, and I came here originally suffering from vertigo that had gone on for quite a few days and was basically disabling me. I couldn't move too well. The whole world was spinning. So I've been recommended to see Dr. Vivek and came along for my first session. I really was able to understand what would happen, the process that we would go through, the effects that it would have, and kind of my role as well in that process. And literally after the very first session, the symptoms went away, the triggers I still get, but they never turn into anything. So for me, with the vertigo, I was getting a little trigger in the back of my head, and then that would send me spinning. And as much as I recognize now when that trigger is around, nothing comes from it. And that was literally after the very first session. And just the education I got about how out of tune our bodies are and how twisting and turning can have an impact all the way down the body, and the importance of good posture as I sit back up and make sure I'm keeping it. It's affected how I operate all day long. In the back of my head, I'm thinking about how is my body moving? Am I throwing myself out of whack by, the way I adjust and move and pick things up and remain symmetrical? So it's kind of that very first initial consultation where we went through all the different parameters of how the body adjusts itself and gets misaligned, really stayed with me, and it's something I think about a lot, and I've talked to a lot of people about as well to educate them. So with the vertigo, I was really stuck that whole week. I'd had vertigo in the past, but this one was just different, and I had headaches with it. The room didn't stop spinning. It went on for days, whereas normally it would just be a few hours, and nothing I did was changing that. From the immediate first consultation, the first adjustment, the headaches have gone. I've barely had a headache since, even with the seasonal, the weather variations that we've had. Headaches were always something that kind of lingered, especially around my sinuses, and I just haven't suffered from them. And the same with that dizzy feeling. I've put myself in situations and expected it to come back, and it hasn't. I've talked to so many people, and I highly recommend it. Just the ease of the adjustment, the fact that you don't feel in any way that you are having any contraindications. You're not damaging in the way that other kind of traditional chiropractics sometimes felt. I used to go and see a regular chiropractor, and I used to think, God, I'm sure this can't be doing me any good. And I was like really tense going into them and each adjustment. Whereas this one, I've spoken to people who have, blood pressure issues, back issues, headaches, neck ache, a whole range of different things, racing heart rate, and, recommended that they come and give it a try. And it has such a whole body effect rather than just, an ache in a certain place that somebody can crack. This is just a whole body encompassing treatment, I feel.